Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be building yet another custom keyboard. This is a really unique build and I am really excited to show you guys the whole process. It took quite a while for all of the parts to arrive and I cannot wait to get started, so let's begin. Let's start off with the case. For today's build, we have This one I grew by quite a while ago and I bought it as soon as I saw it on sale. And the case itself is transparent, as you can see here. It is really light, which does make it feel a little cheap, but overall it is really well machined. It also has a 0% layout, which makes it one of the most compact keyboards I've ever worked with. 0% keyboards are very common but are pretty underrated as they are difficult to use practically. And as for the switches, we have these are really smooth, but do not come factory lubed out of the box, so if you're trying to look for a stock experience, I don't recommend these ones. They're manufactured by, and they have a transparent switch housing and a 0-gram bottom mount, which makes them the lightest switches I've ever used, and I'm pretty sure the lightest switches on the market currently. If you have weak hands, I highly recommend getting the... And of course, we have our keycaps. These are They have a really interesting design and I think it goes really nicely with the whole transparent theme of the board. They were also on group buy quite a while ago and I bought a few sets for reselling on the mech market. I think these will be really popular in a few months and I want to get that sweet aftermarket money. And because they weigh almost close to nothing, I think shipping will also be really cheap. As for the stabilizers, we're going to be using... These make virtually no sound, have no rattle, and once lubed will be completely frictionless. Like, not metaphorically, like literally no friction. Alright, so let's get started. I want to start off by disassembling the case. This keyboard uses a mount, so we need to start off by unscrewing the bottom housing. And once it's disassembled, we can now access the plate and PCB. The keyboard comes with a plate, which isn't my personal preference for plates. It makes the keyboard sound a little empty and hollow, but if done right can sound really good. So let's start working on the stabilizers. The stabilizers come pre-clipped, which is really helpful and does not come with any factory lube. I always like to start off by applying the Holy mod. This can take quite a bit of time, and with these stabilizers' unique design, it can sometimes feel like it doesn't really attach, so you just gotta be a little bit patient. After that, we can start to apply some lube. I like to use Krytox Zero. It's basically frictionless and makes stabilizers extremely smooth. I apply quite a decent amount onto my stabilizer stems and housings. And after that, I apply some more lube to the stabilizer wires. I make sure that it has an even but thin coat and it should look like this once you're done. So once that's done, you can put the stabilizer back together and you should repeat this for all of your stabilizers. And once that's done, we can now test it on our PCB. Alright, so with the stabilizers done, let's move on to our switches. I like to use a switch opener with 4 bolts to separate the parts into. I also use my Space Cables lube station to hold the bottom housing and stems. These switches in particular are really easy to disassemble and take almost no force to open up. Like, it feels like there's nothing there. It's pretty crazy. Once the switches have been opened up, let's start lubing. I like to use Krytox Zero for my switches as they make the switches really smooth. So I usually start off by lubing the switch stems. I get a small amount of lube on my brush and brush 2 to 3 times on each side on all surfaces. Make sure you pay close attention to my technique and how the switch stem looks overall. This is what you want your switch stems to look like. And you want to make sure that it has a nice even shine and no visible loop. For the bottom housing, I like to get a small amount of lube on my brush and brush twice on the sides, then on the leaf. This will ensure the bottom mount experience is really smooth and literally has no friction whatsoever. No friction. Zero. As for the springs, I like to bag lube them as it saves a lot of time. Get a small Ziploc bag and add some Krytox Zero, and after that, just shake for a few minutes. It should evenly spread out the lube and all the springs should be evenly coated. Once that's done, you can put the springs into the bottom housing like this. One last thing I like to do is film my switches. This helps to increase the tightness of the switch and improves the overall acoustics. It can be a little annoying to do as the switch's design makes it look and feel like the film doesn't attach itself, but it is very worth it. So once all of the switches have been put together, I can now solder the switches onto my PCB. For soldering, I really like to take my time on it just to make sure the switches are soldered correctly. You want to make sure your solder joints look like this. It should be neat and you shouldn't have too much solder on one point. It's really easy, like if you look at my technique, I just breeze through them. It's really not that hard. Once that is complete, we can now put the case back together and start putting on the keycaps. These keycaps are pretty hyped up within the community, mainly because of just how cost efficient they are. I don't think any other keycap set can really achieve this kind of look, and it's just beautiful. I am really happy with how this keyboard turned out. I think it looks absolutely incredible. The transparent keycaps and switches blend nicely with my transparent case, and overall it just looks really minimal, which I like a lot. Anyways, let's move on to the sound test.
Subscribe to Hamaji Neo.
Dad? Is that you? You're finally back. I haven't seen you in 10 years. Why are you taking off your belt? Dad? Dad? No! Please! Dad! I'm sorry! Dad, I'm sorry! Oh, my butt. Okay, so what do I think about the... Honestly, it's not that great of a deal. For $0, you could get a much better keyboard. Like, a key cult is relatively the same price. Like, I don't get it. Like, they think we can afford these kind of things for like that kind of price. Like, it's kind of just unreasonable, really. Like, I just don't get it. The mounting style to the choice of plates is just really bad. I don't know why they've chosen to do these kind of things. And honestly, one of the worst parts about having a 0% layout keyboard is that everybody else has one. So I don't know, it just feels like not special. I really wish they went for like a 1% or a 2% layout. I think it would have allowed for a little bit more customizability. I think the manufacturers really dropped the ball on this board. Like, if you look at the renders, you compare it to the board I have, like, they're not the same at all. Like, the color matching is off and it's just terrible. I also want to apologize to the custom keyboard scene for making this video, because it's going to be like the next Tfue keyboard and all the kids are going to beg their parents or steal their credit cards to buy this board and make it themselves. So I am truly and deeply sorry. With that being said, if you guys want to build this yourself, the links to the parts will be down in the description below. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you guys want to support this channel, you can press join down here somewhere. And if you join my Discord server and you connect your YouTube account to your Discord account, you get access to exclusive channels in my Discord server where you can talk with other people who are also members, and I'll post sneak peeks and other exclusive content. Feel free to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Hamaji Neo, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.